Got people coming in. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic, Denise.
I'm doing
I'm gonna
fine,
follow that and
thanks.
say fantastic too.
All right, Miss Rogers. Yes, fantastic. And Ron, you're doing fantastic as well.
Yeah, actually, I said fine.
Oh, okay.
I got some questions.
Well, good, because this is the Q&A version of the Deal Driven app. So let me go ahead and do my thing. Uh, as people pop in, welcome to the Thursday Deal Driven app call. It's your boy Barry. You're gonna be hanging out with me for a little bit. Chloe's in the background. You're not gonna be able to see her today, but she's there. And so we'd like to welcome you to this Thursday edition of the Deal Driven app. For those people who haven't been on this call before, when you jump on, as you're moving on, like most of you guys got your cameras on, so you're following what I always talk about. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you. I like to see your faces. You know, if you ain't ashamed of the face God gave you, you turn your camera on and everybody's got their camera on. So I'm so super excited about that. But this is the Deal Driven app. It's all about the application where I call it the property location tool. That's what I call it. It has a lot of data. But for those of you guys who are new on here, if it's your first time, this call is really about just getting to some of the features in the app, showing you how to use them, but also to answering your questions. So today, since we don't have that many people on, let's go ahead and do a Q&A. If you have questions, concerns, comments, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do to answer them. So the floor is yours, Mr. Ron.
Well, I was trying to do a forgot what to call it. A search. What do they call it? Skip search, skip trace.
Skip trace. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I was able to do. I basically have about 100 identified properties from local area
Mm-hmm.
using the application.
Mm-hmm.
And I successfully exported Excel into onto my laptop.
Okay.
Okay, but that doesn't give me any phone numbers because I have to pay money to get the phone numbers.
Okay.
I
So
need credits
right.
because I'm on week 0 or week 1, whichever one you call it. So, and I have had to send an email requesting support
Mm-hmm.
because for some reason the credit card that I put up, which is one that I'm using, they just said they couldn't complete. So I assumed the card was declined.
Mm,
Now I
okay.
haven't had a flag from my bank, which is what I usually get if I get a card declined. I usually get an email straight away or a text, and I've had neither. And I'm just double checking again. Yeah, nothing new come in on text, and nothing new there on the email. So I basically did a screen capture to show what message I got and attached it to an email saying help.
Got you.
I sent it to the let's see, I'll tell you the email address that I used, and you can tell me if I used the correct one or not. I sent it to support@partnerdriven.com.
No, wrong one.
Oh,
Yeah. It's support@dealdriven.com. Okay.
support@dealdriven.com.
Right.
Okay.
But
Now
you're
that's interesting because in the support channels, it says deal driven. Support would be Chloe@partnerdriven.com. And
yes.
this is okay.
If you send it to support@partnerdriven.com because you're a partner, that's going to go to the support team. But if you have deal driven questions, number one, you can send them to Chloe, right?
Okay.
But the actual support email for the deal driven is support@dealdriven.com.
Well, there's a mistake then on the onboarding information because I just copy and paste the onboarding information. Okay. So it should have been to support at DealDriven. Okay, I'll just resend. I'll just
Well,
forward.
real quick. So you're a new partner,
Yes, I are.
and you should have 1,000 free skip traces.
Well, they give me 0
All right.
at this
So
point.
hold on real quick.
I don't want to take up other people's times with that administrative stuff. So just
Ron,
taking it.
if you could put your email in the chat, I will email you and I can get your account fixed up for you. So you
Okay,
have the 1K free skips.
well, I'm going to accept that offer. All I have to do is find out where my Zoom session is. Okay, because when you put in the waiting room and then we get dropped out of the waiting room to join, I always lose the window. Okay, I found the window. Now I've got to find the chat. There's the chat. Okay, and am I sending? Oh, this is Chloe.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yes.
Okay, so I can send it to you.
Yeah, you can either
Yeah,
just
and
type it in
I have to use the email address that I registered with, right?
Yes, please.
Otherwise, you don't know who I am.
You're right, I don't. So it'll be really helpful if you give it to me. If you give me the
Okay,
correct email.
so it's there
All
just to
right.
you. Save
Thank
cluttering up
you.
everyone else. Thank you. I'm glad I opened my mouth. Now I'm going to shut up and
What? She's driving, so that's why she sounds like that, guys. Thanks, Clay. All right, Ron, real quick, just so I know, when you open up your app, you had your list right here and you selected all. You did not see this at all, correct? Oh, you're muted again. I can't hear you.
I went to actions. I did the drop down on actions to
No. I'm talking about when you skip traced it.
well. Okay. I missed that one. I thought that the lightning bolt was that's the one I looked at was email and phone lookup.
Okay,
And
so you didn't
and
see this though, right?
no, I did not. You're
Okay,
right.
so
I
now
must
she's
have
gonna,
skipped right over it.
yeah, she's
I s-
gonna, no, she's gonna fix it and it should show up. Okay. If
okay.
you didn't see it initially,
Well, actually, I might have clicked on it, and that's where I got the 0 in my account.
no, if you do the free, you have 1,000 of those a
Okay.
month. But if
Yeah,
you
I
do
see.
this one, yes, if you don't have
That
credits, then yes, you'll have a 0. Yeah.
that's because I was looking for email addresses and phone.
Okay. So
Yeah.
but they still
Thanks for
yeah, they
pointing
still
that
should
out.
have done it if you, so when you had your credit, excuse me, let me go over here. To add credits to your account, if you're actually going to use credits, if you,
I went up to my name, up to the account. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You can do it on the
there's a
left
couple
side
of
as
ways you
well.
can do it. Yeah. And you hit
Yeah,
the payment
that's it.
method,
Right.
right? You had your card right
And,
here,
and that's the screen that I got. Yeah.
then you said buy credits.
I went to. Yeah.
Okay. And then you chose how many you decide to buy, right?
And that's when I got the decline. Correct.
Okay, submit payments. Okay. Let me see, where
So
did she
it
go? She
costs you
dropped
to
them.
get the email addresses, but the phone numbers are free.
Yeah, so anytime you do the free skip trace,
Yeah.
you guys, it's only going to look up phone numbers associated with the property owner, which is correct. But if you want to get the phone and email lookup, then you have to have credits in your account because it does a different skip trace.
Right.
Yeah. But you absolutely can use this one if you just want to get phone numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Go back over here.
Barry, I have a couple questions for you.
Where are we at? Who is this? Oh,
Denise.
there you are. I'll see D. Yes.
So I tried to like from the main menu submit some feature requests.
Mhm.
And it goes to like just an error page. So I had emailed Chloe just for those. But what is the process for submitting feature requests?
It took it off. What the heck?
I notified Ben about that, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Great.
Yeah, cause used to when you clicked on it, they would have, you could write down whatever it is you were looking for, and it would show you what's already been asked, because somebody might have asked the same thing, and you could see where they are in it. But yeah.
Okay. So along those lines, the two things that I had asked for was one, almost kind of like a heat map for the property. So when we actually get the property owner on the phone, if they're not at the 10 for being a motivated seller, say they're at an 8,
Mhm.
kind of being able to color code that versus somebody that's at a 2 or
Mhm.
completely not interested at this time. Because in my head, I'm thinking I want to change my campaign for those that are closer to being a 10 versus those that are a 2. Is there
Okay.
anything in the product today to indicate that, or should I just create like a separate list for?
Yeah. You're actually, I get what you're saying. And no, there's nothing in the app that gives you that. And
Okay.
actually, let me ask you this question, so I'll make sure I'm in the same thought process as you're looking for something that, if let's say you pick an area, or even if you just pick a prod or a property, it, that there's a heat map that says this is the likelihood of this property owner wanting to sell. This is their motivation level from scale
Yes.
from 1 to 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me talk to you guys about that. Okay. Whenever you're looking for motivated sellers, there's there are some data points in certain softwares that give indications where people may have the motivation. Somebody who's in pre-foreclosure, they have circumstances that would say, yes, this is a motivated seller, right? They're going to lose their house in about a week, or maybe there was a death in the family. They don't want to live here no more, whatever that outside influence or what's going on with them. That's an indicator or a symptom of being motivated.
Right.
But a motivated seller is really somebody who's willing to sell their house below market value. Okay. I know we talk about this. We've said this for years, pre-foreclosure list, vacant property list, distressed, home, blah, blah, blah. Those are all indicators of motivation. But even with somebody that's in pre-foreclosure is about to get an auction on them, they may say, well, look, I know my house is worth more than this. I'd rather give it away or let the bank take it than just to give it away. Even though they're going to lose their house, and you say that's the motivation, the property owner is still like, my house is worth more than that. So they'd rather do something else. So they're not a motivated seller. Their circumstances may indicate it, but they're not. So what I'm saying to you guys is that we'll get pull a list, and we do, and you can actually find people who may fit that motivation level who are willing to sell. But when it comes down to it at the end of the day, if they're not willing to sell it at the price that we're offering, then they're not motivated to sell. A motivated seller is somebody who's willing to sell their house below market value. And so to have a heat map to indicate whether or not they are motivated or not, only thing they could do, and I know there's a couple of products out there that do this. They have analytics that say, hey, this property owner is more likely to sell than this one across the street. And all they're looking at is data points. They're looking at, symptoms, maybe the length of time they've been there. They might have filed for divorce, or they may run their bankruptcy, and it shows these types of properties. It's just a symptom. But if they're not willing to sell it to you at the price that you want to, you need to get it at, they're not really a motivated seller. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wish there was something that said, hey, on 123 Main Street, Mr. Jones, it says he's tired, he's ready to sell it, and he don't care what he sell it for, and it pops up on the map. You would be a gazillionaire if you could do that.
Well, even if we could manually set something, so, hey, I talked to this owner,
Mhm.
they're not at today, they're a 6. They want to wait 6 months due to certain circumstances. So, I was just trying to, without having to create other lists,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to manage those better. And then, my last question was, when I look at a property and I go to the linked properties and say this particular, owner has 5,
Mhm.
is there any way for me, without having to open up each of those 5 properties, to know if I've already, got that property in a list?
That's a good question. Let's see. Let me look and see if I can. Yeah, let's look at this one because it's an LLC. And yeah, the only way we could do that, and that's maybe a suggestion. I don't know how that's going to work, but some way, whenever you pull up a property such as this, and these people have, multiple properties associated with them, somehow the system can tag them. Like if this one was already in another list of yours, it would actually show the list
Yes,
name beside
I would
it.
love that.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, I've already talked to that person, or sent them a mailer. So I want to keep them on the same campaign instead of doing a completely different campaign for another property.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. That would make lots of, the only thing that you can do, other than the heat map ideal, which I like that, would be you just have to use a CRM, and you could put stuff in, like a drip campaign. Like if somebody tells you, hey, I'm not going to be ready for 6 months. Okay. Then you could put them in a campaign or notification and says, notify me in 6 months to call so-and-so. Or you can, the easier way to do it, I know it's time consuming, but maybe put it on Google Calendar.
Okay.
And then, have it pop up on such and such a date. That's the only way that I know to do it. Having a CRM or the easy or the not CRM way is to put it on the Google Calendar and have it pop up for you as a reminder. But other than that, those are the only 2 ways that I can think of off the top of my head, other than your ideal, which I like that. I wish there was a way to really pinpoint that information down.
Well, yeah, and I'm assuming that they could program that, because when we pull up a property, from the GPS card, when you type in an address, it'll let you know if you've already got this in another list.
Oh, yeah, it does. Hold on.
So I'm thinking they could just expand that feature to include when you're looking at the linked properties.
Yeah, that would be great. I know, is she listening? You're not listening. Do me a favor. I mean, I don't know where that feature page went to, but just
I'm here. Sorry. I'm
Okay.
Yeah, so
exploring the contract.
I included that in my email to Chloe, just asking about the feature request.
Okay.
I
Okay.
gave her my 2 ideas because I wasn't sure what the process was. But
Got you.
Yeah, I sent it over I sent your request over to Ben.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. But he did
Yeah.
say he was gonna get that page fixed up.
Great.
Okay, cool.
And then can I just ask one more question? I don't want to hog the
No,
meeting.
go
but,
ahead. Go ahead.
In regards to linked properties, when we pull up a particular subject property and it's corporate owned and they have, say, 50 to 100 properties,
Mhm.
from in your business, do you contact that property owner? Because in my mind, I'm thinking this is a pretty savvy business owner. They've got processes in place, they've got teams. And if they were really truly wanting to sell one of their properties, they would, you know, disposition that in a completely different manner than just talking to me. But I could not be thinking that through very clearly as well. So,
No, I mean you're correct in your thinking. I mean, I don't do that kind of calling with those types of people because I don't have to really do it. You know what I mean? I get, people come to us right now.
okay.
But looking at the list, it's one of those 50-50 things. It's look at it as a practice. I do it that way. You can still contact them because sometimes they do have properties they want to dispose of and they just haven't put it out there. And then you could actually maybe find one that they have. Most of the time, like you're saying though, if they have a whole bunch of properties like that, then they pretty much know where they really need to be at and where they're not going to go.
Yeah.
uh,
I've put them in a separate list for now because I mean I don't want to lose sight of them, but we've been focused more on single or 10 or less properties right now, just to get out there and hopefully get a deal quickly.
Yeah, quickly is the key word, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I could tell you about the quickly part. Is sometimes it happens fast, and sometimes it takes a little while. It's never. I wish there was a magic wand that says, "Hey, I'm gonna get this deal today." Analytics tells us that if you make, the 500 calls or 100 calls or whatever it is, out of those you'll get you may get 5 or 6 people interested, and out of those 5 or 6, you may get 1 or 2 deals during that process. And it can be tedious, but I think the best way to find pretty decent deal or some deals is number one, go on Facebook Marketplace. Okay,
Yep.
start combing that. You're gonna get a lot of people who may be wholesalers or stuff like that, so you just gotta weed through it. But you can find property owners on there who really want to sell their house. That's number one spot. Number two, if you haven't already started doing this, start going to some of these other investor meetings in your city. Start networking with people that are doing this and work with them, collaborate with them and say, hey, how can I help you? What can I do to help you do this? Or find out what they need. And you tell them what you need, and then you work together and JV on some stuff. Those are going to be the two quickest ways to finally get into a deal. Okay. Even if it's their deal, let's say you're out there, you're helping them and you find a property and you say, hey, I found this property, and they actually make the deal and they close it themselves. Get that information from them. Be on the calls with them if you can. Go on the appointment with them if you can. Learn as much as you can, because when you do that, that gives you experience, it gives you confidence, and you start to see how people work. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, this week I started Facebook Marketplace and we joined our local investor group here. So those meetings are coming up and we'll definitely be, networking with that group.
Okay. All right.
Thanks so much. I'll stop hogging the
No, you're
meeting.
fine. You're fine. That's what this is, Q&A, Q&A. Let's see, Isaac, you said you have a 10 unit. If you have buyers or a buyer, call me and platinum member. Oh, I forget. There's different people from here. Isaac, are you part of REI Connector?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you talk to Avis?
Yeah, I'm in touch for sure.
Let me see.
I wanted to ask, first of all, if it's possible to get a replay because I missed the first 17 minutes or so, or 10 minutes. Also, if it's possible to show how to pull up cash buyers to call to try to dispose properties to and to build a buyer network.
Sure. Well, the first 10, 15 minutes you really didn't miss. No, it was just Q&A. This is just Q&A. Do you know
Oh,
how to
okay.
skip trace and everything using the app, right?
No, I'm brand new, so I don't know how to use DealDriven yet.
Oh, okay.
Is there a separate recording for that?
Well, I can go through some of that stuff real quick. And I'll show you the cash buyer thing too. Okay.
All right, thank you.
I'll make sure Janet, you had your hand up, you pulled it back down. What was up?
I did. It was exclusive to Denise. Denise, I know that that's not in there and everything, but I found a way for things like that to work for me. I brought myself a black box that would fit the index card kind of close in so they would stand up in the black box. And then I use I put the months in there, you know, little tabs for the month. And then I put the first week, second week, third week, and then I use paper clips, the different colors to indicate the day. So Monday is red, Tuesday is blue, stuff like that. And it just gave me a way to organize myself when dealing with people that I had to call back and stuff. So I take the card out of the first week of January and I put it 6 months back in the same week that we're in that January when they requested me to call or whatever. It's just a way, since we don't have, it's about us. I hear what you're saying because it's organization so that you don't forget, you don't want to miss out on anything. I don't either. And so that's the way I organized myself. Just a suggestion until they come up with the solution so it's all in one space.
Appreciate that. I've been using my Google Calendar for now, but
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
appreciate the idea. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that I've got to make technology that I understand. And by the way, I would refer to what you just described. While it might sound Stone Age to some people, it's what I call rock technology. It doesn't matter how old it is, it still rocks because it works. And you know, I'm okay with Excel spreadsheets, but I haven't done anything with CRMs in many years, and they were very, very primitive last time I tried to use a CRM. And I'm suddenly realizing while we're looking at some of these screens that maybe I don't need to get a CRM immediately. I need to get a better understanding of what I can do with DealDriven. It's going to send out emails for me as well as give me phone numbers to call. Something I've not twigged. And also it is able to send out postcards. Is that correct?
Right. So
could you go over how that works?
Yeah, I will. Just to piggyback real quick, you know, whatever works for you, that's what you should use. Okay. We know there's a lot of different technology out there that can make things a lot easier. And of course, you know, if you're not really up on it or you don't, you know, that's not what makes you operate properly or the way you want to operate, use whatever makes sense to you. Yes, CRMs, they're not as antiquated anymore. There's cheaper ones, you know, like Monday.com. What else is there? There's a couple of them out there that you can go. That's kind of cheap. just go to Google, type in CRM and for real estate and see what you get. You'll see there's a lot of them.
Well, I just wasted about 3 hours today trying to play with a couple of different ones. I went on Podio and I went on uh, I got them all tabs open, but I'm not going to search there now. Anyway, I wasted my time sort of trying to work out my way through just downloading that Excel spreadsheet or uploading into there. And I kind of go, I'm just beating my head up against a brick wall. I got to go do a training course to use one of these.
Yeah.
So,
Just
so I'm going to go back to I'm just going to stick with Excel and whatever is in DealDriven for the time being.
yeah, just keep it, in the beginning, guys, just keep it simple. The biggest
So
thing is to make contact with people. That's it. Just keep it simple. All these systems, yes, they're great to have, but you're not there yet. If you want
somebody
to try to
put
keep something organized, do like what Denise is doing. Put it on a Google Calendar. If that's as much technology you want to do, put it on a Google Calendar and make it notify you on a certain day. That's the easy.
Vanessa put up a note on chat.
Yeah,
Recently.
Yeah, Resimply. That's another one. That's another CRM.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So since Isaac was new and Ron wanted to know some stuff, whenever you log into the DealDriven app, right? If you go to the circle with the question mark on it, there's an onboarding video on there. We have training videos. We have a YouTube channel. You just go to DealDriven on YouTube and it can pull up a lot of the trainings that we do. But if you have the app and you just want to watch an onboarding video, you can click this right here and it'll go through the basics on how to create a list, how to skip trace, how to, what else? Pull a list. I think it even talks about mailers and how to use those. But
okay,
you can always go here. For this training, Isaac, I know you're driving, but if you hear me, like I said, you can go here. If you open the app and go to the circle with the question mark at the top, you can get those basic things that you need. Also, the YouTube channel, we have it as well. Those trainings. Close this.
Where do you get the training? Where is can you point to it again?
Top of the app, the circle with the question mark.
All right. Got it.
Click on it. Then there's a watch onboarding video. If you want to see some training videos, go down to the next and click on it. It's going to take you to the YouTube channel and you can watch those different little individual trainings. This call is always recorded. It's always going to be on a week later, I think, on YouTube. So we've got a whole bunch of videos of live training as well that's on there. So you can check that out as well. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and run through something real quick. Like I said, DealDriven app, I call it the property location tool. Simple. It's really good for driving for dollars. It's really good for pulling lists, right? It's really good for giving you information about a property. And those types of things. That what I use it for is when I'm out driving and I see a property, I want to know what it is, who owns it. I pull out the DealDriven app. I open up the first tab, which is the point and click search. Whenever you do that, it's going to open up by default in a location where you're not at. So what you want to do is you always want to make sure you click on the navigation arrow up here, whether you're on your phone, tablet, iPad, whatever, and your laptop, click there, and it will locate exactly where you're located at. And if you're out there driving for dollars, right? Let's say I'm out here over here, and I see a house that I'm like, okay, this one looks like it may need some work. It looks like it's distressed. It might even say for sale by owner on it. It may say something that indicates that this might be a property that you want to look at. Then all you do is just tap on the map. It's going to pull up the property card. Property card is going to have some information. It's going to have the property address, an estimated valuation of the property, estimated equity, estimated loans, the last time it was sold, what type of property it is, the owner's name of record, and that's a lot of information right there. The valuation and the equity and the loans, those things are estimated. They're not exact. So just take that with a grain of salt. You can always look at it, but you always want to verify. But it's just an estimated. Valuation is based off of whatever the house is. If it's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath house, or a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, it's saying in this area, this house should be valued at this based off of recent sales. It should be. Doesn't mean it's exact because you don't know what's in the house, if it needs work, blah, blah, blah. It's just a valuation. The equity is based off of if they have a mortgage that's out there. Whenever the mortgage started and they made payments, and knowing that they made the payments on time and everything, this is how much equity they should have in their house. It doesn't mean it's true. That's what they should. And then the loan, it's the same thing. The loan may have been, initiated in 2017, and it'll tell you, what the loan was before, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean there was no arrears, or that mean nothing. You don't know. It's just an estimation. So the information is, you have to verify that if you need to.
So would a HELOC, a home equity loan, be listed under loans?
It may or may not be.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not, because it's not it's just a part of a separate loan of the house, and not like when they first got the house or first bought it. Sometimes those don't show up. Sometimes they do. Most of the time they don't.
I
So-
mean, I was thinking that it would only be loans that place a lien against the property.
Yeah, that's correct. But it
Okay.
doesn't always show up in public records. Remember, this is
Gotcha.
public records. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So, so you get a lot of information just off of this card. Now, if you're
What
doing
about when
driving
you
for,
click? What about when you click on the card and there's the additional information that gives you the range of estimated market value?
well, I was going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. What I was going to say is, whenever you're out there driving for dollars or looking around, the goal is to collect information. Okay. Not to try to evaluate everything right then and there, but just to collect as many as you can. Create a list. So if you were in the subdivision, the neighborhood was called Gandy Gardens, you just write down, you create your list, Gandy Gardens, subdivision, driving for dollars, or whatever you want to, in a date. So that way, these houses are the ones that you have added. But if you want to see more information on this, you can, right? If you do that right there, it expands the card, right? And it's going to give you some property detail information, how many bedrooms and bathrooms. Again, this stuff right here is public records. Public records are not always accurate. That's why it's important whenever you talk to a property owner that you actually, ask these questions to make sure the bedrooms. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when I'm looking at your property, I was looking at it, said it had 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. Is that correct? They may say, oh yeah, that's right. Or, well, no, there's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Okay, great. And I can show you where you can change that, guys. You can change that information. All right. So whenever you get the card or whatever you look at something, you want to just add it to a list. So you click on add. And like I said, if you're out there driving and it's a new one, you can create a new list. You just name it whatever you want to. And then you can click on exclude properties that are already added. That means they won't double add properties if they're already in another list. And then you click on confirm. But I'm going to go ahead and add this one to all properties. And once I do that, it comes up with the detail card. Okay. Now I can X out of that, and I'm driving down. I want to go see if there's another one. Now, if you see these little check marks, I don't know if you can see these on your screen, but these properties that have the check mark, that means I've already added those to a list. I've seen those already. So I don't have to go, if I'm out there on my map and look and say, oh, I already been here. So I don't need to check this one out again. And if you see the little candy colored dots right there, I call them Jolly Ranchers. In the legend, it just basically tells you a status of the house or what this house is. When it's the blue, it's a non-owner occupied. Generally, that means it's an owner who doesn't live there, and they're probably renting it or leasing it out to someone. Okay. We got a couple of dots right here that are brown. This means this one's on the MLS. This one's on the MLS. So it's a listed property that's not owner occupied. So that legend down here, if you see a little circle